A celebration of rainbows and cucumbers this morning throughout the mainstream media. The charcoal is burning the magnificent smell of the grilled wiener. It is overpowering the dark cloud of flatulence escaping from the set of The View. Now, there is plenty of reason to celebrate in the short term. The WNBA debut of Caitlin Clark. It drew the highest ratings in the last 2 decades. Headline at the New York Times. WNBA entering a new era. Skyrocketing viewership. Sold out arenas. Young stars. This is great! Headline from the AI at Woke Illustrated. Caitlin Clark debut draws largest audience in 23 years. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. I understand the celebration. I get it. The media, they have been falsely celebrating this dump for years now, creating unique reasons or lies to falsely portray the elite athleticism in the WNBA. Now, they have been given a legitimate reason to celebrate. They actually believe there is light at the end of this very dark boodle known as the WNBA dump. They actually believe the stars have aligned and the WNBA will finally get something they have never received in the past. Attention. But there's just one problem. One tiny problem. For most casual viewers, I believe the WNBA had one opportunity, one chance Tuesday night to disprove critics like myself. They had one chance to prove that the WNBA is elite basketball. Unfortunately, all they ended up proving is what we have known all along. The WNBA sucks. It sucks. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. And if you want to support the channel, link for channel memberships in the description below. Special thanks to City of Champions and Andre Leverett for signing up yesterday. And Andre, I'm pretty sure you signed up a couple of weeks ago. I seem to remember having trouble pronouncing your last name. If you happen to sign up again for a shout out, that's fine too. I appreciate both of you guys for signing up. Now, as you guys know, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong about something. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and nominate myself for the upcoming 2nd annual Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. Going into her debut Tuesday night, I foolishly thought Caitlin Clark had a chance to outperform the NBA playoffs in the ratings. Now, in my defense, when I checked to see what channel her game was on, Google came back and told me it was on ESPN. It wasn't until I went to watch the game Tuesday night that I quickly realized it was on ESPN2. Games on ESPN2, they always trail games that are broadcast on ESPN. They draw less viewers. The worldwide leader in woke, the exclusive home of WNBA trashketball, they decided that the NHL playoffs were far more important than the WNBA debut of Caitlin Clark. Either way, it wouldn't have mattered. They could have put the debut of Katie Rue on ABC. It still was not beating the playoffs in the NBA. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. However, I was right about one prediction that I made the other day. We'll get into that here in just a second. Now, the good news for the dump. The debut of Caitlin Clark drew 2.1 million viewers. And just in case you're wondering, the NBA, I think, was closer to 5 million. Now, the 2.1, it was the largest WNBA audience since the LA Sparkles played the Houston Comet Cleaners on Memorial Day back in 2001. It was also the largest audience on cable in the history of the dump. Unfortunately for the WNBA, that's where the good news ends. I can't stress this enough, and I could be wrong about this, but unless something drastically changes, I don't think I am. The WNBA had one chance to convince casual viewers to watch their product. Now, believe it or not, I went into this with an open mind. Me, the biggest critic of the dump, I was willing to give the WNBA a chance. Every summer, I am looking for something to entertain me. I hate summer for a variety of reasons. Down here in the deep south, summer weather is absolutely unbearable. Too hot to do anything outside, and for weeks at a time, there's no relief. It can be as hot at midnight as it is at noon. But the main reason summer is my least favorite season, it is a dead period for sports. It's the off season for the NFL and the NBA. There's nothing even remotely entertaining about Major League Baseball, so I was willing to give the WNBA a chance. If the product was even half as good as the mainstream media pretends that it is, I could watch the WNBA until September. Then once the NFL starts, I could forget about it. I tried. I really tried to give them a chance. During the first half of that game, I even found myself making excuses for them. Well, it's just first game jitters. The players are rusty. I'm sure once they develop a rhythm, the product is going to improve. I kept waiting for something, anything, to disprove the notion that the WNBA is substandard. It never happened. And I'm not just talking about Caitlin Clark, who looked completely overmatched and unprepared for the moment. I'm talking about both teams. This is no exaggeration. This is not hyperbole. That game Tuesday night, it was one of the worst basketball games I have ever seen, at least at the professional level, or in the case of the WNBA, the semi-professional level. Throughout the regular season, there is sloppy basketball in the NBA. Basketball is a game of mistakes. There are plenty of mistakes that happen in every game, but when you're a so-called professional basketball player, I expect you to know how to make a simple entry pass. There were 4, maybe 5 instances the other night where they are trying to make a simple entry pass into the post. The ball ends up 3 rows into the crowd. You know how we joke all the time about airballed layups, airballed threes in the WNBA? That is not a joke. Going into this game, my expectations could not have been any lower. And somehow the WNBA, they managed to lower the bar to my already low expectations. It was absolutely brutal. This game was so bad, midway through the third quarter, my wife, she was begging to watch Ozark. My wife loves basketball. It's her favorite sport. She watches the playoffs with me in the NBA. She watches every single Pelicans game with me. But she even made the remark, what we are watching, this is not basketball. Last March, when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were playing professional basketball at Iowa and LSU, and the media hype machine was going into overdrive, women's basketball is better than men. These women are amazing. At the time, I told you guys that the tournament was the real draw. Yes, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, they are dynamic young women. Yes, both of them became stars, but the real star, the real draw, is the tournament. That point could not have been more abundantly clear while watching Caitlin Clark in the WNBA Tuesday night. The media, they were celebrating the sold-out crowd in Connecticut. I think it was the second time ever that the group of women who referred to themselves as Suns managed to sell out a home game. That sold-out crowd was so silent, you could hear mice queef in the rafters. The atmosphere, it felt different. It didn't feel the same. When Caitlin Clark was playing professionally at Iowa, even regular season games felt like a big deal. They felt important. Her debut in the WNBA Tuesday night, it felt flat. Even from the opening tip, there was just a different feel to it. The magic was gone. The shine was no longer there. I have a feeling this is going to be disastrous for the WNBA. Remember the other day, there were reports in the media that tickets to see Caitlin Clark were going for thousands of dollars. I remember seeing a graphic comparing the Indiana Felines home opener and playoff tickets for the Indiana Pacers. And the tickets for the Felines, they were actually more expensive. After Tuesday night, that is no longer the case. If you bought tickets for $500, $600, $700, maybe even $800, hoping you could resell them for a profit, you are shit out of luck. Now, for starters, you should have known better in the first place, since the WNBA is allergic to making profit. Ticket prices for Caitlin Clark's home debut, they have absolutely plummeted after Tuesday night. They cannot give these tickets away. Cheapest tickets for the game against the female Suns, they were going for around $100. Median price for that game was around $200. For her home opener in Indiana, a state that loves basketball, you can get into the arena for $12, fees included, meaning the tickets are $8 or $9. Average price, $75. What does that tell you? Tells me the magic is gone. Now, it doesn't mean that she can't get it back, but this was always going to be a tough task. Several months ago, I made a video claiming that not even Caitlin Clark would save the WNBA. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have a chance, but it was always going to be incredibly difficult to save this polished turd. I'm trying not to overreact to one game, but this could not have gone any worse for the WNBA. It has nothing to do with the double-digit loss. I think it was like a 21-point loss. It has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark's poor performance. The real problem is everyone underperformed, or maybe the real problem is everyone performed to typical WNBA standards. Since I embarrassed myself by predicting that Caitlin Clark would outdraw the NBA playoffs, I don't know what I was thinking, but since I embarrassed myself, let's get to the one prediction that I made Tuesday that I actually got right. The game following the horrific debut of Caitlin Clark, it was the Phoenix Masculines and the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. Now, there were big expectations for this game. The WNBA gave them a big lead-in with the debut of Katie Rue. Supposedly, these two dumps feature the biggest stars in the league. Kelsey the Plumber, Donna Taurasi, the infamous Bob Griner, Becky Hammon, one of the best coaches in basketball. These women are huge stars! The other day, I told you guys that the Masculines and the Anonymous Faces, they were going to lose 80% of Caitlin Clark's lead-in. They ended up losing 78%. Caitlin Clark handed them 2.13 million viewers. In the span of a few minutes, the Masculines and Anonymous Faces, they had that number down to a cool 464,000. That is almost 10% less than the WNBA was averaging last season. Now, the next nationally televised game for Caitlin Clark, it's going to be Saturday at noon. Now, Google's telling me that the game is going to be on ESPN, but pretty sure it's going to be on ABC. Since Google burned me the other day when I was making my original prediction, I checked the guide on my satellite and they are showing that the game is going to be broadcast on ABC. Now, normally, games broadcast on ABC, they see significantly higher ratings than games that are broadcast on cable. I think we are going to see the complete opposite. I would not be shocked if Caitlin Clark fails to draw 1 million viewers. I hope I'm wrong. But like I said, it wasn't just the poor performance Tuesday night. It was the different atmosphere, the different feel to it. Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, it just didn't have the same magic as Caitlin Clark at Iowa. But give me your thoughts on this. Did you guys watch Caitlin Clark's debut Tuesday night? Were you as unimpressed as I was? Not with Caitlin Clark, with the WNBA in general. I think they missed their chance. I think this was disastrous for the WNBA. Has the magic disappeared with Caitlin Clark? Is it over? Has her drawing power diminished? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.